Oh my goodness. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of Womanly Way podcast. I am your host, Lala Angela Wang. This is actually take two today uh, because George has been playing with my microphone and the setting was a little bit off. So I've decided to basically jump off, come back up again, and re record. Hey, but that's life, right? If something doesn't work, you do it again. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean that you have failed. It just means we're going to do it again. Um, that's Lala's life lesson today. But it's also like, it's been an interesting day. I did two channeling sessions, and there's so many messages coming through and so many lessons learned. I guess like golden nuggets, not just for my client, but for me as well. I do get benefit. Um, but I was actually prepping lunch or dinner or meal prep basically for the week for the fam. And I looked at my knives. I know it's a very strange conversation. I looked at my knives. Um, and I looked at the two knives that I use the most often, which one is a peeling knife. Some people call it a fruit knife. It's just like a little knife, but it's just really easy for peeling onion skin. That's the best way to describe it. The other is my utility knife, which is something that I use all the time, cutting all sorts of things besides like cooked meat, basically. These are the two of my favorite in my knives range, but they're also ones that holds the most meaning to me. These were the two pieces of utensils that I bought. Like the very first set of utensils that I bought when I was going through my separation with my ex-husband. The reason being, um, these were two things that he wouldn't let me buy. He's like, we got enough knives at home. I'm like, oh, but none of them are what I want. In fact, you gave my favorite knives to your brother as a gift, as a housewarming gift, because he didn't want to buy brand new and it didn't have knives. Actually, I don't want to go into the details. I just feel like, that defeats the whole purpose. But I also want to say that it's actually bad luck giving away knives in Chinese culture. Anyway, but that was a symbolism of my life back then, right? I lived in this home that we supposedly both pay mortgage towards. Um, but my mum-in-law actually paid 50%. So on the house contract, it clearly said that she owns 50% of the house. He owns 25%, and I have 25%. And in order to make sure that everything is equitable and, equal, um, we each have to contribute equal amount of our salary into the family account. And that family account is for our mortgage and also our just household spending. So I still remember, for me, when I first graduated, when I first found my first job, basically, it meant that I only have about $500 left over. So I actually worked really, really hard to make sure that my salary keep going up, so I can actually do other things that I wanted to do, because the let's say the household spending account was strictly for things for the house. So if I do lunch prep, that falls under the house whole account. But if I am to buy lunch outside that day, if I decided not to take lunch to work, then that comes out of my own personal account. If I am if I decided to go home and see my mom, that comes out of my personal account. If my mom comes to visit and I want to treat my mom with something nice, that comes out of my personal account. Right. So for me back then, the home was very transactional. And to me, it's kind of like, I didn't feel free, even though I had the money. I was bringing in money, I had the income. I didn't feel free. I felt very trapped because everything's very controlled. And if I was to buy something for the house, I have to have permission. And if there is something to be done around the house, then I have to have permission from both my mum in law and my ex husband. And I still remember when we first moved in, I wanted a bookshelf, and it was decided that we can buy all the other furniture that everybody else want, but the bookshelf was going to be a recycled shelf on the wall that they pulled down, that was left over from the previous landlord, and that was going to be my bookshelf, right? So I became creative. I bought some paint that would allow me to paint over the joinery, which I actually love because I painted red. And it was just like, I got to put all my books in there, and I created a little space of whatever I have. But the home to me back then didn't felt like my home. It felt like I was living in someone else's home, even though I'm paying 25% of, towards a home. So it's fair to say I felt really trapped. And today when I was looking at my knives, I was like, that kind of makes sense why for me it's so important to build a wealthy, abundant foundation for my family and for myself, so I don't ever feel trapped again. But at the same time, it's kind of the foundations of the way back home, which is my business now, to help people find freedom, right? Financial freedom, but also like a genuine, a real a sense of freedom that is created through an abundant place. And what do I mean by an abundant place? Like, we could have money, but we could still feel poor and trapped, right? Like, I had money back then, but I still felt really trapped because I couldn't do what I wanted to do with my money. And I want everybody to be at the place where they feel like they can do what they wanted to do. They have the freedom to do what they wanted to do, what fills up their soul with their money. And this is what I truly believe. Money can buy us anything that we want. It can buy us freedom, but money can also sometimes trap us. It's when you have the right relationship with money and with the people around you, then it's it's not just a one-way street. I think that's probably the easiest way to put it. It's when you have a family, it's no longer about you and your relationship with money, right? It's how you and your relationship with money influences the relationships around you. And for me, I want to help people build healthy relationship with money, but also healthy relationship with life, with our emotional well-beings, and from a place of setting healthy, strong foundations and healthy, strong boundaries. Because I truly believe, right? Money loves people who loves and understand boundaries. Money is energy, and when you are confident, when you can take charge, and when you have healthy boundaries, and it doesn't mean a bullyish and pushy way. Like, I could be in my most feminine and still have my boundaries. But back then, I was in 100% my masculine and I have no boundaries. I was allowing people to tell me what to do with my money. And that was the reality. I signed the contract to go into this mortgage feeling that I had no say. But the truth is, I have every say. I could say, I don't accept this. I don't want to go into this relationship. This is not a fair contract. I could have said all of those things. But instead, I sign the contract and go in there and go, I'm a victim. So I created that reality for me. And I think for me, the biggest motivation factor, and often, our biggest wounds are our biggest gift. For me, I truly believe my biggest wound is around boundaries, around my own, like, I think it's all respecting my own boundaries in order for other people to respect me. And back in the days, I had no respect to my own boundary. I have no boundary. I have no respect for myself. And therefore, other people have no respect for my boundaries, my money, or anything about me. So, really, I truly believe money work is freedom work, and freedom work is boundary work. Meaning, when you have done your money work, you will feel free. But before you can actually feel free and you can do your money work, you actually need to do your boundary work. And boundary work is really actually about confidence, self belief, self respect, self love, self acceptance, and self compassion. When we can do all of this, we can then do our money work, and then we can then do our freedom work. And this is also why, like, when you look at people, they go, I hate my job, we haven't got money. And you go, well, but you can change that. And they don't change that. It's really because there's a bit of self-worth thing that's happening in here, right? And often we self-punish when we don't think that we deserve something. We often find ways to punish ourselves doing the things that we know that we shouldn't do, like watching TV, like, not keeping up with our appearance because we're like, I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. So it is fair to say that money work is linked to self-worth, worthiness, and deserving, right? And when we can find our worth and believe that we deserve the goodness in life that we deserve, then we will be able to find our freedom. So it was about 2 years ago, I was having a conversation with my mentor back then. I was looking for freedom. And my mentor said to me, what do you mean you're looking for freedom? You are free. You are free to make all of these decisions that you want in life. It's you keeping yourself stuck. So why did I keep myself stuck? When freedom is out there and I feel like freedom is that thing that I have to go and reach out and grab, when freedom is really within me for me to create. It's because I didn't believe I was worthy and deserving of having the type of freedom that I want. So to give you an example, right, I was working today. I also did a play date arrangement for George and some of the kids from daycare. And I messaged the mom who organized it today, and I said, look, I won't be there, but I'm sending the boys. I'm sending the boys out there. She's like, well, you can't work on a Sunday. You need to look after yourself too. But you know what? I actually don't like, for to some other people, it may feel like trapped, like, oh, I have to work on a Sunday. And you might have seen my post on Instagram story. Like, I felt free. I was in my element. I was doing the things that I love. I was actually lit up, that I am able to have a Sunday where I can still spend time with my family. I can make a meal for them, something I love. But at the same time, I can serve. I did 2 channeling clients today, and I was doing work. And if you're a business owner, you'll know, like, when you're going through a growth phase, sometimes, yeah, there are compromises. There are things that you have to do on a weekend. But for me, it didn't feel like a compromise. It didn't feel trapped. I was able to say, hey, at 3 o'clock, that's it. I'm not going to do any more work. I've done enough, right? I need to connect with my family. I wanted to cook for them. And at the same time, at 5 o'clock, I was like, I need to rest. I need to have some me time. So I went in my room and be with myself and do my thing. And that to me is freedom, to have the freedom to say what does my soul need right now and what is going to light me up? I had the same freedom back then when I was in my marriage, in my previous marriage. But I didn't choose that, right? Instead of that, I choose to utilize my freedom to be a victim. So really, freedom is created by mindset, and our relationship with money is created by mindset. So the foundation of all of our beliefs, of the life that we truly desire, of money, wealth, and abundance, it really all comes down to mindset. And so often we create the jail that traps ourselves. But it is until we can decide to take responsibility and go, yes, I created this, then we can start giving ourselves the power back and go, well, if I created this, then I can uncreate it. Then I can disassemble it and I can put it back together the way that I really truly desire. I think that is it's really the biggest realization that the past 10 years, really all I did was disassembling all of those beliefs that no longer serves me and rebuilding this life that is what I want. And I'm still learning, right? I'm still learning all the things. I'm still learning all the steps that I need to take in order to go to the next level. But the realization that I have and I want to share with you guys today is, through me looking at the two pieces of kitchen utensils that I bought when I first left the home. Back then, that was my pathway to freedom, as ridiculous as it is. But now looking back and also looking at the life that I've created, it really is a shift in mindset. And you'll be like, well, but a shift in mindset isn't going to make me rich overnight. No, it's not. But it's going to make you rich over a long period of time. Right? If I think about the amount of money that I used to make and the abundance that I have created over the past 10 years, is it easier or harder? I would say it's actually harder. It's been a really hard journey. But the rewards are so much more. And this is the truth. The universe isn't gonna give us just because that we have done more work. It isn't gonna get easier. It's a bit like we were talking about our financial year targets, because obviously we're stepping into July now, and we're talking about financial, like each of us at work, we have our business development targets. And I said to my boss, well, if I achieve my target, then my job is done. And because obviously your targets depending on the type of project that you brought in, and we did a calculation, like if I bring in 2 projects, then my job is done. And that's what my boss said to me. He said, oh no, I'm just going to increase your target, right? And I think in a way it's really funny, because that's how the universe operates as well. Like, just because you have reached a milestone, you have achieved something, doesn't mean that the universe is going to 100% make your life easy and you just like literally lay on your banana chair and that's it. There's always more work to be done. And because you have increased your capacity, the universe is going to give you more challenge and more things, because that is what you're capable of now. You have essentially increased your benchmark. You have, increased your capacity to do the work. So you might be thinking, well, then what's the point of doing personal development work? Mm, It's up to you. I mean, for me, it's the blue pill, red pill situation, right? Um, do I rather be in comfort and just like lay on my banana chair all day, or do I want to accept the challenge and looking at creating a better version of me every single day? And I think that is the ultimate challenge with, if you want to do money work, if you want to do freedom work, it really is about creating a life that is about bettering ourselves every single day. How do we make it better? How do I make our lives better? How do we make other people's lives better? And for me, it really is, I never, ever, ever, ever want to go back to that place where even though I had the money, I felt trapped. And I also don't want other people to go through the same trap. And so it is really my desire to help mums in particularly, working mums in particularly, to build that abundance, build that wealth pool, but also build the mindset that supports the wealth that you have. So you can sustain it, so you can keep it, so you can grow it. But most importantly, you can find your freedom by utilizing the wealth that you have. And that comes down to having the right mindset. That comes down to the willingness to work on the hard stuff. Right? Everyone can work harder. That's the reality. We can all work harder. But can you work smarter so you don't have to suffer from burnout? That's the download that I've got for all of us today. And I have to say, like, it is a channel. There are items, things in there that I'm going to have to go back and listen and use that as my own learning as well. And I hope you love it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are feeling called to try out one of my free channeling sessions, I'm currently on a mission to do 100 free channeling sessions. I'm on number 6 at the moment. So I've got plenty of spaces to come. If you're interested, you can contact me on all the ways down below in the show note. And I look forward to serve you. Have a lovely day, night, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And I love you so, so, so much. See you next time. Bye.